Good day, everyone. At the Vancouver meeting tonight, those of you that are attending that see this, I wish for you to perform the exercise that I put out several days ago before coming to the meeting. It's very important that you do this. And that's my phone. It'll stop in a moment. Nice music, huh? Makes us want to dance. Well, it is dancing time, so perfect. Okay, let's get back to her. Before anyone attending the Vancouver meeting tonight at 5:30, I strongly suggest for each and every one of you to do the energize exercise that I put out. I wish for all to be powered up before meeting with all of the others. Very important. I will be transmitting higher codes as well. And the higher you are energized before coming in contact with each other, the better it is, the more efficient it is, and the stronger everything is. So it's important with that. Now, excuse me. Also, one of the important things about it is that you're gathering, you've got to keep having them, you've got to keep connecting and combining your energy in the physical. As you know, your auras are extending outward perhaps about 6 feet from you. You're more powerful when you are in physical contact with each other, when you're standing, at least a couple feet apart or 4 or 5 feet, and you all know how important the hugs are as well, the transfer of energy with that. Now, at this time, you know that you are different than most of humanity at this time because you are at higher levels. And, for instance, with the ships, not everyone can see them at all. It's mostly you and, all of the awakened that can see these. The video that I shared of Victoria's just previous to this live, a plane goes over at the end uh, when she mentions it, but that plane probably did not even see her Merkaba ship. Because we are interdimensional as well, and we set up interdimensional planes of existence too. And that's why this reality that you see around you is not the only one that you can access. And during this ascension, as you keep powering yourself up and building yourself up, you can access more and more of the other realities, other dimensions. That is what this is all about. But also, it begins again with you powering yourself up, doing whatever you can. And it's so important for you to be, let's say, selfish in a good way of powering yourself up. Because when you power yourself up, then you change everything out around you to the equivalent of what you have become. So if you power yourself up to full love, non-judgment, no fear, then you are projecting that out around you. And the stronger you become, the more of effect that you have on the reality. So all of us together doing this, we create the new realities, the new timelines, to try to keep it simple. But it's so important that you do this with the gatherings coming together because the unity creates huge energetic fields that not only do they open portals and energize everything to the good, they also establish connections from the etheric realm down to hair that spreads out and changes everything good as well. So the strength is in numbers. The more of you that come together, the stronger everyone becomes, because you're all a network. And when you connect with each other, you're combining your energy, and you're also funneling in more of the interdimensional energy. So it's a beautiful, huge process. So again, the importance of this, I suggest for wherever you're at, who's ever watching this, facilitate your gatherings, get together. You don't readily need me at it, because there's many of you that are also very powerful, that can transmit the codes to others by the physical gatherings. And we just keep going higher and higher with this. And this is not, again, the only reality here. This is how we lift up out of it as well. At this most important time, it's very important for you to keep building your own energy up. Do not be distracted by family or others that are not awakening to the degrees you are. When you focus upon your own self, you change them indirectly. It's more efficient for you to empower your energy fields up. Then that change is reflected outwards in others. Instead of you going directly to your family and try to change them, no, you are at a lower level when you do that. You are exerting your energy. It's not as efficient. Power yourselves up. Step into your divinity, into your divine sovereignty. Be your beacon of light, and do not let anyone tell you that you are anything less. You know what you are, and you keep building that. I am a liaison between all that you are and all that you can be. And all of us teachers are that. And we get you up to where you are standing totally beside us with the same prowess, the same abilities. You create the full Christ consciousness, if you wish to look at it that way, and it keeps going higher and higher, and it keeps changing everything in your realities. Many of you were tired, but we're in exciting times. I was quite tired and bored myself, but the last month or so, it's really happening, and everything has been elevated. It doesn't stop, as you're seeing, more magic every day with this. So we keep going forward with this, and it's so important that each one play your divine role at this time. Step into it. Don't let anything from these 4D, 3D realities suppress you any longer. Don't let it degrade you and separate you from your prowess. The tips and the tricks are: let go of all fear. When you let go of all fear, aggression, irritation, ones that no longer serve you or that are no more benefit, uh, to your progress where you're at, it's best to leave those relationships go if you must, and go into your higher relationships, your connections with the others of the higher consciousness. It's what builds you up much quicker. And this is not to say that you will not come back to your relationships or your families later, but if you do, they are also going to be higher. So please understand that it's all with you that changes everything. But for many of us, we're not staying here. We are not restricted to the surface. As you see, the ones of you that got your uh, ships hauled in close, your Merkaba ships. These are just aspects and receptacles of what you are. It's part of your connection back to the entire divine grid, if you will. And more of you will be bringing these in. So keep connecting with it. Over the last week, again, I've seen more and more are beginning to get pictures of your ships and all the fun stuff and cool stuff they do. It's not an illusion. It's not fantasy. It's very real, but it's real for you. As I said, some others may not see it, but that's because they're not supposed to see it. It's not their time, and it's not what, let's say, perhaps some of them signed up for at this time. But the main thing is, and no one actually knows how many is going forward. We're given not actual numbers, but we know that more and more keep waking up and keep changing, but ones keep, staying at different levels. But there are a lot of us that don't. We go up to the higher levels, go back to our ships, go into our other realities, even go right back to God, the Godhead that we branched off of. So, it's an individual basis with that as well. But overall, everyone is ascending to higher and higher levels, and you're not restricted to how high you go with your soul contract. You can, it's my understanding, you can rewrite that, while you're just right here in the physical. Say, hey, no, I want to rewrite my soul contract. I'm going to the limit, whatever you may wish and whatever is good for you. So again, with these physical vessels, it's important to monitor what you put in them, not meaning that, that you can't have, let's say, some kind of a sweet that has white sugar in it occasionally. You monitor your own energy. It's just that I put out how important it is to keep, uh, your vessels clean, but each one of you are also given what you need for each process of those vessels. And sometimes I have seen that some need junk food, for a day or so. It's because there's a chemical or whatever in there that, with the biochemical processes also of changing your body, that chemical becomes essential, you know, at short periods. So you may have a tendency to eat a bunch of chocolate or what have you. It's all good to go with that. But, at the end of the day, keep in mind that keeping your vessels in about the most cleanest that you're guided to do is the best. Now, most of you that are up there, this. Ones of you watching this that are just reaching these levels, it's important to pay more attention to your physical vessel to get it cleaned up. And you reach such a certain point by doing that you energize yourself, and then um, you, let's say, don't have to be as particular with what you consume, but it's always perfect to use the highest discretion and keep it clean as you can what's entering your body, because you don't want to be expending energy on cleaning the toxins in your body when you can be using that same energy to empower yourself higher to places where you don't even need to eat those kind of foods. So it's important always to be focused on empowering yourself to get yourself up higher. And everything around you then changes on the outside. So again, you don't wish to be working on things out here, because you could stay there and you're not rising. When you do that, you're putting your energy out here. You need to put your energy here and rising, and your focus is best when it's put on that. So great. Just wanted to do this shortly. So we're having a gathering in Vancouver tonight. Um, looks like down the western seaboard, Washington State, Oregon, perhaps California. I see other gatherings are springing up. on the East Coast. One gentleman, he had one gathering last night. It was only him and one other, but just by them two coming together, they saw things change in the energetics. So it's so important. It does not matter if two of you come together or 20 or 50. It's all very important. And the gatherings are also divinely, let's say, watched to assure that the perfect things do happen. So just because you may have a gathering and one or two don't come, it don't project that nothing's happening. It's because it was ordained for it just to be that way in the beginning, and it continues to grow, and I can assure you that. So don't project any preconceived notions in there. Please understand that everything is divinely perfect as it must be. And for example of that, we did the other gathering a week or so ago in Victoria. We had 8 participants, but it was very important. If one would have looked at it, you probably, from this view, I would have thought that there might have been 20 there. But I accept everything as it is because I know this, that the important ones for that specific time are there. And with the Victoria one that we had, there was 8. There was 4 males, 4 females, and quite an interesting gathering as well. There were new ones that were beginning their journey, and there was many codes transferred, and we got rid of a little negative dark assemblage of light. A few saw that, and which was cool and fun and very real as well. None of this is imaginative, and so there's always cool things happen. But with that gathering, there was 8. That's the infinity symbol, as I mentioned in another one. We were standing outside. Most of us having a smoke, an infinity vehicle drives by, and just so many cool things with it. And it's, that's the divine magic as well, and it's the combined energy that creates, synchronicities and even beyond that. So great. Very quickly, we're in the very most great times. The Yellow Vest protest in France and Ireland, I see this morning, UK, Israel. What you are seeing is that, it's really happening. The people also on these lower timelines are standing up. They're demanding, that governments and whatever step down, or at least temporarily, to change the way the people are. And just on these lower timelines that we are in now, it's not going to remain that way. It cannot. And as more awakened, they're assuring that the protests are growing, and it's a most beautiful time of transition. Nothing will ever be the same as you see it here now. Everything is undergoing complete change. So having said that, you really, for you watching this, you really don't need to support with your energy the worldly things unless you feel very compelled and guided to do so. But it's more essential, really, for how powerful you have become. It's more essential for you to work on yourselves, and activating your Merkabas, building up your energetic field, and that has the greatest effect overall. So it's most prudent and wise to direct again your focus on empowering yourself whatever way you can. So I believe that's it. I get on here, I ramble on. It's 19 minutes 44 seconds, and really I was only going to come on to say a couple sentences, but it's always the the way when you're in divine flow that things come and you just got to let it, go. You don't, the least you try to control and restrict something, the better it is, because again, control is a restrictive measure, and with this, yeah, it has to be complete surrender to what you are in that trust, even though you may not consciously know at the moment. You do know enough in your heart to trust it, so you strengthen yourself. So again, it's also best, from the mind. Don't try to control things. Don't try to project plans out in your future. You wish to, in your immediate futures, only look at things as options, but be ready to go over there, if you will, if the doors open, because that is your most favorable guidance. So you are surrendering to the universe, which is you. Um, and it's best to keep going with that instead of trying to restrict and control things from a human logic or a human rationale or from a human mentality. You are no longer human, so do not use the old human ways. Um, for example, if you are, then you don't grow, you remain stagnant, you remain humanoid, uh, with that respect. That doesn't really happen, but I'm trying to give you an example of how it, by doing that, how it restricts your growth, and it can keep you in a stasis for a little bit, and it can become very um, discomfortable as well, because if you're meant to move higher and move forward and you're trying to control things from a human brain, you begin to cause chaos. Nothing will work right for you. You'll run up against roadblocks. This is why. It's because you're not surrendering and following to that inner truth and knowing. And there's a reason why you do not know everything at this time, and it's to keep certain things intact, like the human playground. What you are, there will be many that will be on these lower timelines experience a human existence. You are above that. You are embracing back your divinity, and you are raising, and you are going into the worlds of wonder, if you will. And you recognize that later on, they will ascend as well. Everyone does. It's just that at this time, some are not ascending the way that you are, the way that we are. We're ascending through the magic, through the beautiful timelines, and it's best, whatever you feel, what's in your heart, what you wish to do, to resonate with that. But most of you that are watching, you already know you're going where I'm going. You're going where your tribes, if you will, are going, and so cool, good. Enough rambling. So have a great day. I'll see some of you tonight at the gathering in a few hours' time, and rock on. And each one of you, I strongly suggest power yourself up. Keep calling in your ships. The more that you do this, you strengthen the connection and you open more interdimensional portals. You also open more of your memory as well in your knowing. So there's a whole lot of good things and a whole lot of good benefits for doing that. And so it's cool. All right. I love you. Peace. Kiss. I love all of you. And it's really happening. Have a great one. Bye now.